For more than 80 years, something extraordinary happened in Long Beach, California. Planes were built there that helped win World War II, shaped modern aviation, and carried American troops and humanitarian aid across the globe. Generations of families built their lives around that work. Aerospace wasn't just an industry, it was an identity. Now it's over. Boeing has announced it will permanently shut down its Long Beach C-17 aircraft manufacturing facility by the end of 2026. Not a downsizing, not a pause, a full shutdown. 5,300 workers are getting a countdown to unemployment. A nearby Hawthorne facility closed just weeks earlier, taking another 120 jobs with it. In one stroke, California lost roughly 6,500 aerospace jobs in the same region. If this can happen to Boeing, after 8 decades, who's next? This isn't some aging factory that fell behind the times. The Long Beach site spans 700 acres and traces its roots back to World War II, when it employed more than 40,000 people producing aircraft at a pace that seems impossible today. It survived wars, recessions, mergers, and technological revolutions. What it couldn't survive was modern California. Governor Gavin Newsom's administration has spent years talking about workforce investment and industrial leadership. Since 2019, California has poured roughly $890 million into aerospace workforce development, training programs, partnerships, skills pipelines. That money made workers better. It did not make California competitive. Boeing's message was blunt and chilling. The decision is final and non-negotiable. This wasn't leverage. It wasn't a threat. It was an ending. What makes the closure especially damning is the timing. Just 3 years ago, Boeing finished a $137 million modernization of the Long Beach facility. New automated equipment, expanded composite manufacturing, environmental upgrades to meet California regulations. This was supposed to signal a future. Instead, it proved something far worse. Even after spending hundreds of millions to comply, modernize, and adapt, California still didn't pencil out. Boeing concluded the Long Beach operation was about 23% more expensive than comparable facilities in other states. That gap didn't come from one bad year or one bad policy. It came from layers of cost stacking on top of each other. Higher corporate and equipment taxes, sales taxes on inputs, stricter environmental compliance, slower permitting timelines, and housing costs that make recruiting workers increasingly difficult. Other states didn't just offer lower costs, they offered speed and certainty, faster approvals, predictable regulations, aggressive incentives tied directly to job creation. While California debated, litigated, and regulated, competitor states cleared runways and rolled out welcome mats. The defense reality made the decision even easier. The Air Force stopped ordering new C-17s in 2015. With future procurement uncertain, Boeing had to choose where to keep its remaining manufacturing capacity. Keeping that capacity in one of the most expensive regulatory environments in the country made no sense when cheaper alternatives already existed. So Boeing is consolidating elsewhere. Tooling worth hundreds of millions of dollars will be dismantled and moved or sold. Once that happens, the capability is gone. You don't just turn aerospace manufacturing back on with a ribbon cutting. The fallout won't stop at Boeing's gates. Long Beach is expected to lose roughly $461 million in annual payroll. Nearly 200 California suppliers employing thousands more workers depend on Boeing contracts. When the anchor tenant leaves, the ecosystem cracks. Small businesses lose customers. City budgets shrink. School funding takes a hit. Utilities spread fixed costs over fewer users. One closure turns into a regional contraction. And then there are the people. Engineers with 25 or 30 years invested in highly specialized work. Assembly workers raising families on stable union wages. Parents whose kids are studying aerospace at California universities, now wondering if they'll have to leave the state to use those skills. This is what economic transition looks like in real life. Supporters of the governor will say California still leads in innovation, design, and R&D. And that's true. But here's the uncomfortable reality. Design without manufacturing is dependence. It means ideas get built somewhere else, by someone else, under someone else's rules. Once heavy manufacturing leaves, it rarely comes back. Skills scatter, suppliers disappear, young people stop entering the field, communities stop believing stability is possible. That's how an industrial base erodes, not with one dramatic collapse, but with a series of unavoidable decisions that all point in the same direction. The Boeing Long Beach closure isn't just about one company. It's a warning flare. It's what happens when leadership prioritizes ideology, regulation, and symbolism over competitiveness and speed. California didn't lose Boeing because it lacked talent. It lost Boeing because it made itself too expensive, too slow, and too uncertain to bet on. And if an 80-year anchor like Boeing couldn't justify staying, the question every remaining manufacturer is now asking is simple and terrifying. Why should we stay? Thanks for watching, and if this was helpful, then please subscribe.